What's up? What's up? You're now listening to The Limitless Experience with Eric. Thank you for tuning in. This is a recap of Season 4, Episode 9 of The Shy, titled Space Jam. I have my co-host with me today.
Hey, it's Ruth again. Happy to be here. So, yeah, let's get into Episode 9.
Do you know why they will call this one Space Jam?
Nope. I never remember the titles, to be honest. I just go along with Episode 1 to 10, but I've never really taken note of the titles, if that makes sense, until you mention it.
Yeah.
I never really...
I pay very much attention to the titles because sometimes I want to see if it has a correlation. Yeah, but I don't see it. And it's unique because the movie Space Jam with LeBron just came out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So normally we vote on where to start, but I think it's pretty obvious we have got to start with Douda. Do you agree?
Yeah, why not? I don't mind.
All right.
Crazy part.
So my first note for him is his brush with death is making him want to be a better person, right? He was sitting there, he was talking with Trig, and, you know, he was saying how his life flashed before his eyes. And he talked about how he wanted to be more of a family. He wanted to really help with Jake. And I'm like, wow, this really changed him. He's going to be a better person now. What did you think about that conversation he had with Trig?
I don't really trust Douda anyway. I think he's so unpredictable. It's difficult to say, because there's a part of me that's like, is he only saying this because Roslyn isn't there anymore and he doesn't, because Roslyn was his family, you know, but I'm just wondering, is he being genuine about that? And he probably is. I mean, as much as he's on his own, he might be not scared to be on his own, but everybody likes to feel like they have family.
Right.
And obviously now Roslyn is gone. He actually doesn't have anybody but Trig. So I just don't know how genuine he is now. Right.
And we actually did finally uncover how he feels about Gemma dating Jake, right? The father, Marcus, he was not too fond of Jake at all.
Yeah. But do you think that's because she moved on from Kevin, or is it just because of who Jake is linked with?
Oh, it's definitely because of who Jake is linked with. And then also, we've been talking about this pretty much all season. What's the story behind...
Her mother.
Exactly. Yeah. So she is alive. They're just separated.
Yeah, and he got full custody.
Right.
Yeah, it was good to hear because, you know, we did wonder, because, again, is this one of those things that we're just going to leave untouched? And at least they were able to answer, I guess, pretty much most of it. You know, she is alive. She just lives somewhere else. And he is this, you know, not the sole parent, but he just has full custody of her. So.
Right. And another thing that was, now that I think about it, kind of made me believe that he is more okay with Kevin than he was with Jake. Remember when he caught Kevin in his house and then Kevin jumped out the window and he pretended to be coming in for the first time, but Marcus, you know, Gemma's dad, actually saw him on camera? He never really said anything. I felt like if that was Jake, he would have definitely, you know, had a conversation with Jake.
Yeah. I don't think Jake is the issue here. Obviously, it's just the association, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because Kevin's the same age, you know, they're similar, you know, they go to, well, not the same school anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's just Jake's, unfortunately, it's just because of where he comes from and who he's linked with. Other than that, you know, I don't think he would have really thought much about Jake if he was just a random kid from anywhere else, I guess.
Okay. Now, I feel like most of the people in this show, right? Most of the adults know about Douda's past, right? They know he's a gangster. They know he makes people disappear, right? So when I saw him telling Douda how he would attempt to bring him down, and he was bringing up multiple scenarios, he's like, maybe I can talk about this. You killed an innocent man. And then he was like, oh, Brandon wasn't innocent. But he said, oh, I can do this. Like, I'm like thinking to myself, like, dude, I
feel like he might not know that much about him, because for him to come out and be so bold about it, I'm like, does he actually even come from that city? Like, does he come from somewhere else and this is just a job?
He knew. He knew he killed Brandon.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, obviously, probably not when he did it, but, I'm sure he found out. But I guess it's not in his best interest to, to disclose that, because if you think about it, they're all backing this mayor. So essentially they're all guilty by association, if that makes sense. So to a certain degree, even if he found out, how do you really go about snitching if this is the person that you've been backing? Remember, we said we didn't really know what his job was and how exactly he fitted into the whole, you know what I mean? Like what his job role was. So yeah, so maybe that might affect him more than we realize, even if he did want to go and tell.
I mean, well, I think that in politics, this is how a lot of things happen. It's always somebody, in your corner. But I was definitely thinking, Marcus, he's out of his mind talking to Douda this way.
But maybe, that's what I'm saying. I think he knows Douda, but maybe he just hasn't seen the extent of what he gets up to, if that makes sense. Because, like you're saying, like, Trig wouldn't try him like that. Like, Trig is quite free, and he does say what he thinks, but he's also very careful, if that makes sense.
Right. That was very unwise of Marcus. Like, why are you saying that you're going to do this? Just, if you're going to do it, just do it. But don't tell the person who you're going to try to ruin that you're going to attempt to ruin them by telling on him or telling that he killed somebody.
Yeah. I think he's just, if somebody says something like that to you, it's more of a threat than, I feel like if he really wanted to do it to get him out, as you said, he would have done it. But I think it was just a way to try and scare him a little bit, which, unfortunately for him, backfired.
Right. So, even though, these people are actors, I still feel a little squeamish talking about the character Gemma, right? But, Douda had no problem saying what he said. What did he say? He said your daughter's going around fucking everybody or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so that, that you're gonna get punched in your face. You know what I mean?
Or that means that, but he set the situation up. Look at it. No man in his right mind is going to allow somebody to speak about his children or any woman in his family in that manner without swinging.
Right.
So he wanted a reason to take him out. So he went for the very thing that he knew would make him react, right? Exactly. There's no way he would have said that to him and he wouldn't say anything.
Right.
So I think he wanted to smack him anyway.
Right.
And that was the easiest way to get him to do it. So it's like, I'm going to get you to punch me first. And
right, but
at least if I do this.
But Marcus St. John, he just, if anything, I thought he would just strongly suggest he get the fuck out his crib. You know what I mean? But
don't forget, he's already pissed off with Douda anyway. So it's not just about Gemma. There's so much bubbling up, and that was the icing on the cake. You know what I mean? So I feel like it's different if everything was okay, and then it was just a random spew of words. But It wasn't. It was a thing where he's had it up to here with Douda anyway.
Right.
And then you add that on top of it. So he's already waiting to, you know what I mean? So he was bubbling up anyway. So I feel like by adding that on top of it, there was no way he wasn't going to react. And of course, Douda used it to his advantage and just took out. You could tell that he was raging. There's something inside of him that's bubbling. Somebody's tried to kill him. He can't get back at this woman. So he has to take it out on somebody else. And unfortunately, Gemma's dad got the brunt of it,
Yeah, that was crazy. I just thought that there would be an exchange of punches thrown, but he used that cane to, that was insane.
Because it was more than, like, what did he do that was that bad, if that makes sense, for him to deserve that? And then on top of it, he didn't want the ambulance called or the police called.
Man, what the fuck are you doing? Man, you fucking lucky you're still breathing. Who you calling? The police? I can't let him die like this. Yes, you can.
And to me, that was like, I feel like seeing Trig between the episode where he went to that girl's house and then the guy got shot. I can't even remember.
Lance.
I realized that
Lance and Jamal.
Trig cares a lot about his community. As much as he was in the streets and stuff like that, it made me realize that actually he is a good dude who is trying to do right by his community. And he's kind of trusting Douda because obviously he knows that he holds the power.
Right.
You know, and I feel like seeing this, I don't know, you can see something. He has a heart. So he's not just this ruthless street guy. He's somebody who actually really wants this utopia that he's talking about.
Right.
So, you know, him seeing him on the floor, knowing very well that that could get them in trouble, he still wanted to save his life. And Douda's like, nope, let him die. You know, and at that point in my head, I was thinking, can he really go against Douda? Or, you know, I don't know.
So that was a complete 180 from the conversation Douda and Trig were having in the office. So do you think that was all a mastermind plan, that maybe Douda knew this dance was coming up and the only way he can get near Jake, Gemma, and Marcus was to pretend that he actually cared and wanted to become a family?
I don't know. The whole thing, like how he even rocked up to the house, like you were uninvited. Who told you to come?
Exactly.
The whole thing made no sense to me.
Exactly.
So I looked and I was like, why is he here?
And
you know what I mean? You've come to somebody else's house.
Right.
And clearly you two aren't getting on. Why would you just walk in and then just assume the father role, shall I say, you know, when Trig is already there?
Right.
It just made no sense to me. So he definitely was on a mission, for sure. You know, I don't know how pre-planned this all was, but I know for a fact that he didn't come there to give Gemma a corsage. That's bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was Marcus, I definitely wouldn't have...
Let him in.
One, let him in, right? But two, if you let him in, you can come in just for the appearance for the kids, but you and I, as the two adults here...
have to go straight out. Yeah, like once they're done, bye.
You gotta leave. You know? I'm not about to sit here and have drinks with you.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole thing was just strange, you know. And like I said, to see Trig, like I think what kind of made me a bit was, you know, now we're going to see the effect that it's going to have on Jake, because obviously Jake can see Trig holding. I mean, if anyone walked in, if I'm honest, it didn't look like Trig had done anything. Douda was sitting there looking relaxed. So I do believe
no,
that
Douda was wiping the blood off his cane, and Jake saw that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. But I guess it's just one of those ones where he had to. It's just so much to take in.
Right.
It's just, I guess he doesn't know the level of involvement that his brother has. But I believe that Trig will explain himself, and I do believe that he will believe him, because he's seen Douda. He's seen that side of Douda before anyway, so he knows it's possible. You know.
Yeah, Douda absolutely did this before. He beat the shit out of somebody in front of Jake before.
In front of Jake, so Jake has seen this, you know, and he might have hoped that maybe. Not that he changed, but you know what I mean? Like, it's like, and on top of it, you didn't just do it to anybody. You did it to my girlfriend's dad. Like, are you kidding me? You know, and now he has to live with that secret. It's heavy. It's heavy, you know? So
we're not even going to wait till predictions. Did you see the preview for the season finale?
Yeah, he's not dead. He's not dead.
He's in the hospital.
Trig took him to hospital, yeah.
But this is Douda we're talking about. Do you think Douda will finish the job?
No, I don't think he can, because obviously at the moment he's in hospital anyway. I think the danger and again, that's another thing. How does Rashad know this? Because I saw Rashad talking to Trig. Is it that Trig had to call Rashad to help him try to get rid of the body or move the body? How did Rashad get involved in this? Because remember, we discussed this last week, saying, are we going to see Rashad again?
Right.
And, you know, here he is. So, again, is this something that's similar that happened to what happened to Rashad the first time, and then he got nabbed and then Trig got away with it? You know, did Trig have to bring him into this to help him move the body or take him to hospital? I don't know. Because why would he get Rashad involved?
Right. And why would Rashad get himself involved, knowing that he's probably on some type of probation?
Yeah, the whole thing to me is a bit like, but why would you tell him?
Right.
You know, yeah.
And then the crazy thing is, we don't know how nuts Douda is, right? So, like, were you thinking that he was going to do something to Trig once Trig said, I'm calling the cops?
No, I think, you know what, deep down, I do believe, even if not anybody else, I know he doesn't give a shit about anybody, and I think he would kill anybody he had to kill, but I do think that deep down he does have something for Trig. And I feel like, you know, when he said call the police, I think if maybe he had done it when he told him no, he could have reacted, but I feel like, I don't know. I don't think he would just off the bat do something to Trig. He'd probably remind him that, well, if you call the cops, you're implicating yourself as well. Because, you know, think about it. Trig was sitting on the porch when, like, the neighbors would have seen him. You know, they would have seen Douda come in, Trig come in, Jake come in, so they would be suspects. Let's be honest.
Right.
You know, and they have no alibis. Do they have alibis? I don't know. So by kind of actually him taking the dad to the hospital, he's kind of put himself on the line. Actually.
Well, I guess it depends on what Marcus says, and being that
If he's even not brain damaged, because the way he bled out, I mean, I'd be very surprised if he's, you know, if he comes back from that. I hope he does.
If he hasn't lost consciousness, you're right. You're
yeah,
right.
because he went in pretty hard. So I'm wondering how much memory he has of all this, if that makes sense.
Right.
And the thing is Gemma gonna put 2 and 2 together because Jake comes back and he's very unsettled for the rest of the evening. You know what I mean? Like, does she not put 2 and 2 together? You
Yo,
go in, as soon as you come into the club.
It was so hilarious to me when she was like,
My dad was asleep, wasn't he?
I think so.
he
Like,
definitely is.
He's like, he definitely was sleeping.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
speaking of Jake and Gemma, is Jake old enough to drive?
What's the age thing with you guys? Because I'm sure that's like 15
So
or some shit,
for
right?
me, wow, I'm old as shit. I think it's 17.
Really? I don't think so, because for us it's 17, but I think it's younger for you guys.
No.
Because, you know,
Well,
when
in
they do,
different
there was
states,
that
like in
show, the Sweet 16. Remember they had that show,
Right.
Sweet 16 in the States? Yeah, they used to get cars for their birthdays.
yeah, but that's in
So I feel like
California.
it's-
That's in California.
Okay.
So I don't go. I guess in Illinois it's 16, but I don't know, man.
Maybe check it out. Can you Google and see? And on top of it, there's no police there, so maybe he just gave him the car. He knows how to drive, but you know who's gonna stop you anyway. So
What's the legal driving age in Illinois? You can get a permit at 15. Driver's
Yeah.
age is 16 to 17. Okay, so not that bad. All right.
yeah. So he's
So-
probably. I mean, I don't. They're 16 yet. I'm not sure, but you know, like I said again, maybe he just gave it to him because I don't know. I mean, the fact that Gemma's dad allowed him to drive, clearly.
Right.
Maybe they are 16. Maybe they are 16. I don't know.
Yeah. And it looks like him and Kevin like officially pieced it up,
Made up.
even though Kevin
Yeah.
is still bothered.
I think he's still bothered, but I feel like actually, you know what? It doesn't seem to matter what age you guys are, but I think it's a guy thing. Guys and girls tend to deal with things like this differently. With women, you can say that just one thing about somebody's dude and she won't speak to you forever or ever, actually. And with a guy, I find that you guys let go of that stuff a lot easier than we do. So, you know, I guess
Not necessarily.
those-
Not necessarily. It depends on the.
not all the time, but I feel like you get over it a lot quicker than we do.
Yeah, it depends on the relationship. You know what I mean? Like, how cool are we for you to say some dumb shit out your mouth or do something? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And on top of it, let's be honest. I mean, it took both of them, but Gemma was his girlfriend, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake was his friend too, but those three were friends before Gemma came into the picture, if that makes sense. And I think when he saw Gemma for who she really was at the dance, at Maisha's thing, I think he kind of realized, yeah, you know, it put things into perspective. As much as he might still care a bit, I feel like, you know, he's probably realized it's not worth. And then I think he realizes that Jake isn't just with Gemma to sleep with her. It's like you can tell that he actually genuinely does like Gemma.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, I'm not saying that makes it better, but, you know.
Now, it looks like you were right about Lene. Looks like she's going to give Kevin a chance. And, you know, actually, when they went to the dance, I didn't think that was... I thought that was kind of corny. It's like, dude, you've been expelled from this school, and why are you going to this dance with Lene? You know what I mean? And she already peeped him, or what his actions were, pretty fast. Like, oh, you want to go there to spy on your ex? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they could have decided to do something else for me, but it's good that the two of them are getting closer together. Maybe, hopefully next season, this isn't like a thing, you know what I mean? Where we're constantly seeing Kevin, you know, having horrible feelings about what happened with him, Jake, and Gemma.
Yeah. No, I think that'll be over. I think that's it. This season is not gonna move into the next, unless obviously they bring the whole Gemma and her dad. She's obviously gonna have to go to her mom, so Gemma's out of the picture anyway. You know.
Oh, you
so
think so?
Even though he has come on, like he has full custody, but if he's not, depending on his recovery and whether he even comes back, Gemma has to go. So she's probably gonna go back to her mom.
No, I don't think so. I would be shocked.
I don't think she'd want to go, but I think maybe the dad might realize how much of a dangerous position he's in to have Gemma around him. So he might give her back. Like, as a father, if you knew that's the kind of person that you were dealing with, would you want your child around that? I wouldn't.
Right. Okay, so now we got 2 predictions.
Yeah.
Now.
So I feel like I send my child wherever I feel was safest until, you know.
So I always thought that Lene was the sister of the girl that was doing the OnlyFans.
Yeah, I was so confused about that because she was in a therapy session. And
yeah,
then she
exactly.
Yeah, I don't know.
So she's not that. They're not sisters. She's the actual sister of Jamal. You know, the dude that Vic Mensa and
the one who ran away.
Right. So that's kind of odd.
She doesn't know what. So does she not know what's happened?
She has to know. I think she knows.
Because she said, he went away somewhere, blah, blah, and she kind of brushed over it like it was nothing.
Right, but she's not going to say my brother killed somebody. That's normally what people say.
But she said his girlfriend. So that's not the OnlyFans girl, is it?
It is, because I had it, I also watch with the closed caption on. So, for like the lesser known characters, they'll put the name on top of their dialogue, and the sister's name is Cherry, and that was who that girl was in that episode, in episode 9. So Cherry, the girl whose brother is dead, is living with Lene, the girl whose brother killed Cherry's brother.
Okay.
So that's an odd pairing.
And that was just irresponsible of him, because you've done this and now you've left your sister
right.
in a position where, you know what I mean? Because Cherry can be like, yeah, get out.
Right. So that's it with them. Now let's talk about Emmett. So you notice we had way more adults in this episode, right?
Yeah. Well, you mean
the grown adults? You know, we had Emmett's parents, we had Douda, we had Marcus. You know what I mean? It was, this was a much more grown episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't see Tiff, obviously. You know what? One thing I like about Emmett, again, why I said he was my favorite character, is because he seems to be one of those ones who has these babies of all these women, but he seems to be able to have a good relationship with them, even though he did say to his mom, we actually had a good convo. So it sounds like they're not necessarily always on the best terms, but it seems that because she has a new man now, she's able to kind of take out her feelings about Emmett and actually be his friend rather than, you know what I mean, like, this is my baby dad who did me wrong, blah 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 blah. But yeah, it was nice to see them interact and be able to have like an adult conversation.
True that. But did you notice, or maybe I'm just reading into it too much, that Shay kind of took Tiff's side? She said sometimes you got to let her have fun or something like that. Like, what's up?
Yeah, I don't think they ever hated each other, if that makes sense. I think everybody knows Emmett, and everybody knows who Emmett is and how he is. So I feel like the moms, actually, all the women he's had kids with, are actually probably okay with each other. They might not be friends.
They are. They all met each other one time. But my thing is, what do you mean let her have fun? Like, they're married. There is no having fun. You're married.
I think basically, I mean, like I said, me and you have had this discussion already. I'm not saying what Tiff is doing is right, but, if he wants her, he's going to have to just let her have her process. And if he doesn't want to go through that process, then he needs to move on. So it's not about what's right or wrong here. It's just what Tiff wants to do until she gets what she has to get out of her system, or it may never happen. But he has to make that decision as to whether or not he wants to stick around or he doesn't. It's not a right or wrong thing right now. It's just what she needs to do to be okay. Because basically, think about it. Those women, like if you notice in that conversation she had with Emmett, she was like, "Well, he treated me better than you treated me." So these women have experienced the pain that Tiff has experienced. So they're like, well, so they can sympathize with her because they felt the way that Tiff's felt before. If that makes any sense.
I guess. But do you think that Emmett will leave Tiff and get with Shay?
I think it just depends on, like his mom. There's going to be a lot going on and it depends on, I feel like, his mom dying. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a lot going on. He's going to need support.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'm not sure what direction it's going to go in.
Now, speaking of his mother, Jada looks good for somebody who's supposed to die next episode, right?
Yes and no. I feel like it's just... When you say it's not okay, things can progress so quickly, if that makes sense. Like I'm not saying like she looks like she's not supposed to be like on her bed, like some people can go to bed and just not wake up. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I feel like it's not as simple as, like I said, I told you my mum died of cancer. Hers was totally different, and she did deteriorate kind of like the final weeks before. But then my partner's father died, and he just went to sleep and didn't wake up, and he had cancer also, but he looked pretty okay. So I feel like there's different types of, I don't know if that makes sense. Like, you wouldn't necessarily see somebody and be like, yeah, she was withering away. Anything could happen.
Right.
So.
And they did do the family thing a lot this episode with the Jada. You know what I mean? They brought Emmett in the picture. They brought,
nice.
And there was no her young boyfriend, whatever his name is.
Yeah, he didn't come in. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while, but So do we still think that Jada is gonna die? I'm not sure if she's gonna die now.
Well, you know what? I hope she doesn't, because I feel like, just not everybody who has cancer die. People actually beat cancer, and on top of it, she has breast cancer, which is actually curable if caught on time. So I'm hoping that actually what they might do is actually give her this new lease of life. She'll somehow go into remission and then actually sit down and be like, you know what, this is going to give me a different perspective. I'm going to live my life, So I'm hoping that, it seems like it's going in that direction, but they might surprise us and they might actually, give us some good news instead. Because, Emmett's buying the house as well and everything. And I feel like, them having
He's 1,000% buying it, or was he just looking at it? Because
well, he was looking, but I guess to a certain degree, he's obviously trying to make steps into doing that,
Right.
And I think what it did make me think of is that sometimes you kind of wait, it's only until something happens that you really realize that shit, not that he's always loved his mom and him have always been the family, I guess, but it just puts a lot into perspective, and it looks like he's trying to do everything that he wants to do for his mom in the short time that he thinks he has.
Right, he is.
Yeah, it was nice to see her and Darnell kind of sitting together and kind of, thinking about old times.
Right, eating pork chops.
And the whole family thing. Yeah. I actually like Darnell, to be honest. You know what? He does remind me of Emmett to a certain degree. They have a certain slickness to their character. They're able to kind of be around women, and even though they just do their bullshit, their women still like them to be around.
Right.
Like they still, like, he has a friendship with Jada.
Right.
I don't know who else, but yeah, he does remind me of Emmett. Like,
and speaking of Darnell, I don't think we'll see Lala anymore. I think in real life, I think she's signed up with another show, and I think her character isn't that important to the show. I think she's done.
I felt like if we didn't see her again, it wouldn't really matter.
Yeah,
she's obviously Tiff's business partner as well, but I feel like it's not important to see her. She was there to kind of disband Tiff and Emmett, and then obviously her and the dad getting together was so random,
right?
But it's not necessary.
Yeah.
He's got his kitchen started, his restaurant started or whatever, so she could be there. They could mention her, but you don't have to see her.
Yeah, I think she's done.
Also, Rosalind, actually, quick question. Is Rosalind done, or is she gonna come back?
No, I don't. I think Rosalind may be done because she was trying to somewhat blackmail Douda, but now Douda's back on his. Huh?
I said it's like they talked about her kind of.
Right, and they kind of like brushed over it, but if Douda was like out of work and still in the hospital, then he would need her to help him out. You know what I mean? but he's good now. He's just walking with a cane, but he's back strong, and he doesn't really need her that much. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of characters that are like on the fence on whether or not they can be brought back into the storyline.
Yeah, that's true.
Our next person we're going to talk about is Keisha.
Mm-hmm.
Her new boyfriend wasn't in the show. She was texting him.
Yeah, but she was texting him. Yeah, so they kind of at least let us know that he was still there.
Right.
Yeah, we had a lot of him last episode, so it's fine.
Right.
You know, we know he's there and he's in her life, so that. And she mentions him to Emmett.
I mean, and he also plays in the NBA for the Washington Wizards, so he's a busy guy.
Does he? Yeah, I can't unsee that.
Right. So, now this is something that we were talking about, Keisha and Octavia. You know, we were saying a conversation has to happen. You can't just get rid of Octavia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
it was such a nice conversation to have.
Octavia is so nice. She's so motherly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like it was nice to have, and I feel like it goes to show that we just need to have more unity as, you know, just people, women in general. And I think she understands where she comes from, because, you know, Keisha has been through a lot, and I guess you could understand her decision to want to give up her baby because of what had happened. But actually, I don't think she held it. I think she really believes that Keisha wanted to give her the baby. She really believes it.
Right.
I know that Keisha wanting the baby back wasn't a malicious act. It wasn't because Keisha didn't think she was capable. It was just maybe Keisha was able to kind of then come to terms with the fact that actually I do want my baby irrespective of the circumstances in which he was born, you know.
Right.
So I think that I like the fact that she has, in a way, it's almost like she's taken Keisha under her wing. The Keisha isn't her daughter, but, you know, she's kind of treating her like a little sister,
right,
type thing, which is really nice.
And then she also said to her, you know, what were your dreams before you had this baby? Like, she's really going to be like a mentor to Keisha now.
Yeah, that's really important. You know, I kind of resonated with that, because naturally with women as well, you know, we do tend to pour a lot into our kids. And sometimes when you do become a mother, you do forget about yourself, because as I said to you, you know, I have like 2 young kids and they take up a lot of your time. So sometimes if you don't kind of have a plan, or, you know, I feel like you give them time, but then don't forget about yourself. So you have to have, you know, but not everybody has the capacity to do so. Some people don't have the support that's necessary to be able to do both. You know, sometimes you have to wait for them to get to a certain age before you can kind of bring yourself into the equation. So I definitely think that the conversation that Octavia had with her was really important, because it is something that we do go through a lot, where you lose yourself. Everything becomes about your child or whatever it is, and then you forget, you know, and then I'm sure it can, you know, some people probably not become resentful, but you look at yourself and you're like, what is my purpose, actually, you know, other than being a mother? And I like the fact that she told her, you can do anything, actually. You know, if you want to go to school, you can go to school. But I think she explained that everything in its time. You don't have to do everything at once. Balance being a mother. Once you've got the hang of it, you know, your kids grow, you know, they become slightly less dependent on you. Then you can you can add in something else, you know. And it's the fact that she has Octavia there as somebody who can kind of stretch her hand out and say, let me give you that extra boost, you know what I mean? Like, I'll help you apply for jobs, you know, I can recommend you to this person. So she has somebody who's willing to kind of mentor her and put her in a position to not just be a mom. There's nothing wrong with just being a mom. If that's what you want to do, I'm not going to knock anybody who wants to do that. But if you want to do other things, it's possible.
Right. Between Octavia and Christian, it looks like Keisha has a great support system. Even Emmett. Even Emmett is being a helpful hand with Keisha. Yeah. So she's got some good people. She's surrounded. She's surrounded by some good people.
Like, her mom is not there, but she has people.
What do you mean her mom's not there?
She's there, but she's like in her own world by the looks of it. She doesn't look like... It looks like both her kids are there, and she's like doing her own thing, if I'm honest.
Right. That's all I have for my notes. Do you have anything left you want to talk about? I mean, do we need to speak about the realtor that, I guess, recognized Keisha? I mean, that wasn't much, right? I mean, people are gonna recognize her story.
Much, but I think... Yeah, they are, but I think maybe it was nice for Keisha to hear that. You know what I mean? Like, I think she said
she was an inspiration.
But she's seen what's happened to her, I guess, as a negative thing, and it was maybe nice to hear that, you know what, the fact that you've managed to kind of rise above all that and you're still standing is giving other people, you know, you're inspiring other people. So maybe it's just something for her to think about, to realize that when people are looking at you, it isn't just because they're thinking, oh, it's that girl, or they feel sorry for you, but actually people are looking at you as somebody who's a survivor, who's actually been through this and come out, I wouldn't say come out at the other end, but you know what I mean, like you're still standing.
Right.
So I think it was a nice thing for her to say. You know, I don't know how Keisha received it, but well, I do know actually, because she told Octavia that she felt like it was pressure for her. And I like that Octavia said to her that you don't have to live on the pedestal that people put you on. You know, you are you, and how you feel is how you feel, you know?
Right. Really quick, what did you think of the opening scene with Kevin and...
Oh, the jagged edge thing?
Yes.
Yeah. It was funny, and I didn't know what to make of it. But...
Cornball. That's what I made of it. As a cornball sandwich.
I guess.
But they're kids, though. You know what I mean? They're kids, so
yeah,
it is what it is.
We didn't see Maisha neither. So.
Yeah, no Maisha. Right. They really got to get it together with this show. I mean, I know it's...
There's only one episode left, so I don't know how much you think is going to happen in that episode. But,
maybe they'll extend it instead of being like 50 minutes and maybe...
It'll be like an hour 20 or...
Maybe, I'm assuming, because even when they do take out some of the people, there's still like something missing in the shows. You know what I mean? So they would have to extend it. Let's get into predictions. Do you think there will be any deaths in the season finale?
Oh. Honestly, I feel like for me, Jada's was the main thing. But now I'm starting to think, you know, I don't know. I'm in two minds. I'm kind of hoping that she will be able to pull through, because I feel like, you know, like I said, you do have cancer survivors, and, you know, she has a lot to live for. She has the support. She's got people that I'm just hoping that maybe I'm wrong about the Jada, because that's what we thought from the beginning, and that's it for Jada. I remember we said there wasn't much else for her storyline, but I don't know. You know, I kind of feel like if Jada left, I know she doesn't do much, but Jada's Emmett's mom. You know, she doesn't need to be in every episode, but it's still nice to see her.
You know, this is The Shy, so we've seen episodes where it looks like a key character should be there, but then they're not, and it's like, we didn't miss them that much.
Yeah, what you mean, like Brandon?
No. Nah, that show could never be without Brandon when he was on it. But like, if we don't see Emmett's mom anymore, it's not gonna be like we're missing a crucial part of the storyline. Like, Emmett's still gonna live his life and still be with Tiff or Shay and EJ. You know what I mean? It's not like it's, you know, like the big characters are Emmett, Kevin, Jake, Douda, Trig. We haven't even seen Imani in like what, 2 or 3 episodes?
Yeah.
And I mean, how much are we looking for her next storyline?
Yeah.
I don't think that matters that much. So
no, but I don't think she's gonna go though. I think she's gonna be kept on.
Yeah, I thought that. See, where's Nuck? I thought Nuck would try to do something to her.
But you know what's funny? A lot of people that we thought weren't gonna come back came back. Rashad came back. Octavia came back. You know what I mean? So we still have that possibility of next episode, because there were a few people that we mentioned that we were like, what's gonna happen? You know, we were like, yeah, maybe they'll bring them back, but actually they're all leaking in bit by bit. So we might see people.
And then in the preview for next episode, they actually showed Shad, you know, slamming some guy into a wall. And I could not make out who that person was.
Yeah, neither could I.
So it's like, what are you going to... Maybe that person's going to die. Like, why would you bring in a new person for a season finale? This is not going to be a character we're going to see again.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's a link to something we didn't see. You know what I mean? Because it was a quick glimpse, so I couldn't make out who it was. And maybe it's something that I don't know. I guess until next episode we won't be able to tell, because I couldn't really see. It was really quick. So,
yeah, really fast. Yeah. I actually paused my screen just to see if I could make out who the person was.
Recognize the person.
Still didn't recognize him. So maybe it's going to be like the Lance situation where, you know, we only saw Lance in one episode, right? And then he died. It's like your character's there to die, to be killed.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to show someone be killed. I definitely 1000% feel like we're gonna see some type of death or some type of attempt at a killing. You know what I mean?
I think. Do you think Douda could die? I feel like. Do you think Douda could die? As much as you're saying no, do you think
No.
because
No.
not really? I feel. Well, why not? Why not?
First of all, he's the mayor. You can't kill the mayor, right? And then on top of that, he's Douda. Who's gonna walk up on him and kill him? First of all,
I just feel like
Brandon's mom.
Trig, I feel like Trig has a good chance. If he has to take him out, I feel like Trig would have a good chance because he's the closest to him.
Trig will have the easiest shot at him because Douda would never see it coming. But I do not think that would happen.
I just think because of the stunt he pulled, now he realizes what Marcus was saying. So it's like he's really out of control. So maybe he won't take him out. You never know. Maybe Gemma might do something. Who knows? We don't know this. So, I think definitely something explosive is going to happen. Something that we won't be able to predict.
Right.
Because remember, she turns around and what about Jake? Maybe Jake might do it.
Well, Jake, that's a good one. I can see Jake doing it. Because Jake does not like him.
Jake saw it, and that's his girlfriend, So I feel like, you know what? He won't see it coming from Jake neither. So I feel like if Douda does end up dying for whatever reason, I think it could be Jake that will take him out.
Wow, it'd be like a little kid that shot Omar on The Wire.
Yeah.
Great series.
And it might be just for vindication, I guess, because he hates Douda anyway. And then on top of it, if he finds out the predicament that he put Trig in, and on top of it is Gemma's dad, I think he might take Douda out. He might.
I can actually see that happening. I would be very shocked. My head will explode if that happens, but I can see it happening. So you think that Jake will take out Douda? I'm kind of stepping away from Jada dying. I don't think she will.
Same.
But somebody has to die. This show has always showed some type of death in the season finale. A couple seasons ago.
What about if it's Trig?
If Trig dies?
Yeah.
No, I definitely can't see Trig dying. His character means too much to the storyline. He's connected to too many people. He's connected to Douda. He's connected to Jake. He's connected.
But remember, brother, we don't know what happened to his brother. We don't know if he really died. Something could happen and he could come back.
Oh, so you also believe Reggie's not dead?
Yeah, not necessarily. It was too vague. Like, he could still be alive. So.
Right, he could have definitely survived those shots, but
and he would come back, and he would come for Douda because Douda was the one that. It was Douda, right? Yeah,
Douda had the hit set up. Absolutely.
Exactly. So, maybe that could be another thing.
Keisha's gonna be okay with Christian. Now Emmett and Tiffany, what do you think that will come to? Do you think they'll get a divorce?
I feel like it's kind of hard. I feel like he might. Oh, I don't know. I think it's a hard one actually. I feel like everybody's telling him to just let her be, so he might give it a bit longer, if that makes sense, because he hasn't really got any other interest at the moment either. So, I think he might just let her do what she's doing for a bit, and then it will leak into next season, basically.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So Kevin and Lene will be a couple. I believe this situation that happened to Marcus will make Jake. Wow. What if they break up? What if they break up?
Gemma.
Yeah, Gemma and Jake.
Well, I feel like he kind of doesn't really have a choice, because can you be with somebody who that, I mean, it wasn't Trig, but you know what I mean? Like, somebody has involvement in her father's condition. Like, he's going to find it hard to keep it from her. So he's going to start pulling away. And she's going to wonder why.
Yeah,
so they might not break up because he wants to break up, but
yeah,
it might be for the best for him to step back.
Right. Because she was saying she's going to get to the bottom of who did this.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I don't know. But, so we'll definitely see. I'm excited to see the season finale. And we'll see what season 5 brings. And anything else?
No, that's it.
I know you got 2 kids, so once again, I want to thank you for doing this with me, Ruth. I appreciate it.
It was good to be here.
All right. Thank you for listening to The Limitless Experience with Eric. Spread love. Peace out.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
My dad was asleep, wasn't he?